Madera, California at Madera Speedway. We're getting set for the Imperial Palace Racestuff 200. I'm Fred Armstrong alongside Larry Natson. And Larry, a couple of stories will follow here tonight. First of all, the untimely and unfortunate engine failure for Butch Gilliland. He's going to have to start all the way in the back of the field, and that's a pretty tough go on a short track.
Yeah, but I don't think Butch is too unhappy about that. The other alternative was not to make the field at all. Luckily, he had a show car here, and the Gilliland crew was able to pull the motor out of the car, get it into his race machine, and he's going to go racing tonight. But unfortunately for him, the NASCAR Winston West Series isn't kind to people who start in the back. It's a very tough class, and these guys have to work real hard to get track position. And with pit stops being important, tire wear being important, a short racetrack, he may wear out his equipment going to the front. But on the other hand, Butch Gilliland is one of the most talented drivers in the field. If anybody can come through, Butch has got a great shot at it. It is going to be one tough race for their crew.
Another story we'll follow here tonight is a story of two rookies and some sibling rivalry. Jeff and Mark Crow. Last year they raced in the NASCAR Rebco Northwest Tour. Jeff Crow finishing a little higher than Mark Crow in the points. Tonight, Mark Crow is on the point, just inside points leader Lance Hooper, and Jerry Garrett is with him.
Well, we were warned that a member of the Crow family would be on the front row and on the pole tonight, and your brother said it was going to be him, Mark.
Yeah, he was running really good, but I don't know what I did. I pulled something out right. I guess got to contribute everything to this crew, you know. I think two people that are driving the car tonight were God and his crew. I've just jumped in it, and I got all the credit for it. But, you know, this crew's just been an excellent job. You know, I couldn't have drove, you know, I could have drove a lot worse, and I would have still ended up here. These guys just gave me a fast car, and that's what it takes, you know. So I'm really happy about it.
What's it going to be to stay in front when the green flag drops, though?
Yeah, boy, I got some real good competition around me. Lance is starting right next to me. I got John Kinder, and you know Jeff's going to be trying to get up here too. He's kind of impatient about those things, and he knows when little brother's in front, he's got to do something about it. So we're looking forward to it. It should be a good race. Good 200 laps, a great crowds on hand, so I think it's going to be a good night.
Looking across the beautiful Central Valley of California as we get set to go with the Imperial Palace Racestuff 200. Larry Gunselman is hoping he can improve his 10th starting spot. Jerry Garrett is alongside him right now.
Well, Larry, win last time out. What's going to happen tonight?
Well, we didn't qualify very well. I'm going to have to work my way through traffic and hope that all these guys in front of me either get out of my way or let me through. So it should be a good race. We're going to be patient and try to get through the first 100 and hope that everybody keeps it in one piece and work our way to the front.
This car, this team, knows how to go fast at the end of the race, right?
Yes, we do. That's what we work on all the time, is being fast at the end, because that's when you got to finish. You know, you got to finish first, or the first to finish, you got to finish first. So we're looking forward to this one.
And once you figure that out, then it was checkered flags, right?
Well, good luck to you tonight. Thanks a lot.
Well, Larry Gunselman hoping to improve his position, his 10th starting spot here today, also hoping to improve his position in the points. He sits second to Lance Hooper. Jeff Crow is third. Rich Willen Jr. fourth. Scott Gaylord, Mark Crow, Wayne Jacks is seventh. Joe Bean, Bill McAnally, and Dan Press round off the top 10. We'll be back with a start in just a moment. The Madera Speedway, beautiful evening for racing as the pace car pulls the field down the front straightaway and we get set to go around this race. 1/3 mile paved oval here at Madera, California for 200 circuit. Up front, we talked just a moment ago about our pole sitter, one of four rookies in the race here tonight. Mark Crow will start on the inside of the front row, outside your points leader, Lance Hooper. The second row, inside starting position will be John Kinder. Inside of Kinder, full spot, Jeff Crow. Sibling rivalry continues there, Larry.
And very tough racing these guys have done to each other. Now they get to do it against the entire Winston Westfield. Also, back in the third row on the inside, a driver change. Dan Press, who normally drives the 53 Advantage Memory Chevrolet, has been replaced by a crew member and part-time racer Nick Jennings out of Sepulveda, California.
Continuing on back through the field, starting in the 6th position, Wayne Jacks. 7th will be Bill McAnally here tonight. Scott Gaylord starts 8th. 9th starter is going to be Rich Woodland Jr. 10th, Larry Gunselman as they come down and get the green flag and haul it off to the first corner with Mark Crow getting just a bit of an advantage on Lance Hooper. Taking a pretty good peek to the inside, trying to make the move there, John Kinder. But Hooper holds on to that second spot. Now here's Hooper to the inside off the second corner down the back chute.
And already Hooper has put a paint mark in the side of the number 24 of Mr. Crow as he gets his first lesson on what it's like to lead a NASCAR Winston West race, and now they're coming from the back.
Boy, trouble already Down the chute for the number 1 of Jeff Crow, and you can see in your screen everybody scoots by Crow now as he goes all the way to the back of the field.
Very tough break for him as he had a decent starting position, but now is back to the back. In fact, Butch Gilliland is starting to move up. Here's a good shot of the number 24, Mark Crow, leading the 07 Golden West Trailers Pontiac of Lance Hooper as they continue to make more circuits. Now, the interesting thing here, Fred, tires are going to be an issue. It's a third of a mile, but they have to run it hard. There is not a lot of banking on this racetrack.
Well, the Crow brothers are used to running hard. They ran hard in the NASCAR Repco Northwest Tour and now trying to make their mark in the NASCAR Winston West Series. Both attempted to qualify at Sears Point. Jeff Crow made it. Mark Crow didn't, but still feels pretty confident.
The Winston Cup race at Sears Point was a great boost to our team. Jeff, our goal was there. We practiced there quite a bit, and our goal was to get a car in the show. And we did that by qualifying Jeff. I think he's 27th or 28th, and the team was really happy about that. That's what made the show. I missed the show, unfortunately. I kind of had troubles with myself. The team did a great job. You know, I let them down a little bit, so it's good to get back, you know, build them back up for this show and have a good run here.
Well, obviously they are having a good run, both of them. Unfortunately, for the number 1 car, he's sitting back a little bit, but you know what? They're going to be tough, and as a brother team, they do very, very well. The Winston West car is going very hard here at Madera, the third of a mile racetrack with very little banking. It's going to use up some tires, as you said earlier, but now we see a little bit more heads-up racing from the leaders. The 24 car and the 07 going at it pretty heavily. The 24, of course, is Mark Crow, and he is doing very, very well right now.
Well, Mark Crow hauls it off to the first corner with Lance Hooper on his tail. Meanwhile, brother Jeff is trying to struggle his way back up. Probably missed his shift, dropped all the way back to the 11th spot. Now he's currently 9th. As Jeff Crow tries to make his way forward, we think about the competitive nature of these two drivers. Jerry Garrett talked to Jeff a little earlier about his expectations.
We had a good run last weekend. It gave us a lot of confidence for this weekend, and I wish we were up in the front row, but second row will be all right for today, and just hopefully we'll be up, you know, I think we'll be up front after a while.
Brother says he expects you to be beating on him pretty soon.
Man, I don't know where he got that thing, but he did it. He had a good qualifying effort, and I'm really happy for him. He needs that.
You've been consistently fast here all day. You're going to expect that in the race?
I hope so. We changed a bunch of things, so I think we'll be all right. Well, my crew chief says we are, so I have confidence in him.
Go down in that pit area and talk to the Crows. There's a lot of optimism with that team. Their father is very much behind them, and both the young drivers are confident that they're going to become professionals sometime in their life.
Well, I think they are professionals right now, and they're keeping one of the best professionals in the series at bay as the 07 Pontiac of Lance Hooper continues to run in spot number 2 behind Mr. Crow. He so far is leading the point and doing a very good job.
They'll haul it off turn 4, come across the start-finish line, click another lap off as Hooper's trying him on the inside, on the outside. There's Hooper dropping a wheel off. You can see him get right down onto the berm. They'll race down the chute and head into the corner again, and so far Hooper is unable to get around him. Pretty good scramble going on for 5th as well. Nick Jennings holding off Scott Gaylord, but not for long. Here comes Gaylord to the inside. They'll race down into the 1st corner, and Jennings will lose his spot to Scott Gaylord as they head down the back straightaway.
Jennings still surprisingly doing very well right now in the 53 car, the Advantage Memory Chevrolet. He's never been in the car before, so running in the top 10, pretty good jaunt for him. Gaylord having a great year now, 5th in points and working himself out. And, oh, look, Jennings gets way deep and way hot into turn 1.
Looked like he drove a little bit too hot into the corner. Let's take a look at that one more time. Here's Jennings just about a half a lane up, and right behind, look, there's Butch Gilliland. He dives down low. Up in that one, making his way to the front. Well, we're under caution here at Madera, California. We'll be back in just a moment. Down the front straightaway, heading into the 1st corner. Here's Hooper pressuring Crow again. They'll race off the back, off turn 2, I should say, down the back straightaway. Gets a little advantage, but boy, Hooper's right there.
And this is where Hooper's experience on the Southwest Tour is going to come into play. He knows tires are going to be critical, and the right time to pass is also critical. And there you see Pete Graham again on the car, obviously having some problems. He borrowed that car. It's a backup car for Wayne Jacks, as he had trouble in his car during practice.
Report coming up from the pit area now. The problem is the shifter. He can't get it into gear, so that's going to pretty much put him out of the running here today in the Imperial Palace Racestuff 200. Down into the 1st corner, the scramble is on. It's going to be for the 5th position. Here you see Butch Gilliland diving to the inside of Scott Gaylord. Gaylord will yield the inside lane, and Gilliland will get the spot.
Obviously early for Gilliland to come all the way from the back to move up into that position already, but now he's going after the 58 Imperial Palace car of Wayne Jacks as they continue to follow. 3rd place, John Kinder. And talk about a guy who's been doing a lot of driving this year. The 21 of of John Kinder has been seen in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and the Winston West, and some local racing around his own home.
Back up front, Lance Hooper continues to work on Mark Crow. We scramble back, and you can see the differential there back to that battle for the 3rd, 4th, and 5th position. Now here to the inside comes Wayne Jacks. He'll dive down low and go side by side down the front straightaway and across the line.
And you can see already Wayne Jacks got a little bit sideways coming down the chute, and there Gilliland slides it across the rumble strip down by the berm, and Jacks able to hold off and get by Kinder, the 21 car. So Jacks moves to 3rd, Kinder's in the 4th spot, Gilliland running in spot number 5.
Gilliland looking to the inside, almost gets squeezed off in the first turn, and as he races off the corner down the back chute, he'll again peek to the inside of John Kinder as they head to the turn.
Gilliland still working himself, trying to get on the inside of Kinder. He needs that position badly.
Let's go down to the pits. Here's a report from Jerry Garrett.
Bill McAnally has come into the pits here. He's got an overheating engine, it seems. Bill's had a lot of troubles this year with crashing into things in races. He hasn't had any mechanical problems. Now his car, for one race, has got not a mark on it, but he does have a mechanical problem. Got to be awfully frustrating for him.
So a break for Bill McAnally as he was knocking on the door of the top 10, and again, frustration in the McAnally pits. Now good racing on the racetrack as Wayne Jackson, Butch Gilliland get after him.
Gilliland taking a look to the top side of the banking. Works for him as he races off the corner. Gets a pretty good run down the chute now. Here's Wayne Jacks on the inside. Gilliland will stay high as they race down the front straightaway. They'll click another lap off, and Gilliland will get him into the first corner, or does he?
Well, Gilliland is going to put that position on him and roll into the 4th spot, putting Wayne Jackson 5th. Wayne Jackson has been radioing to his crew about problems with handling, and you can see him just sawing the wheel back and forth inside that Imperial Palace race car. He is working real hard. He's doing a great job keeping this car even in the hunt.
Well, the other thing you can see on the in-car camera is all the vibration on the inside of that car. That's got to be quite a wild ride. Some scrambling for positions a little farther back now. There's Scott Gaylord kind of leading his way through some lap traffic as he scrambles in behind a couple of other cars. Rich Woodland Jr., one of those cars, and those machines now are a lap down. Rich Woodland Jr. Just doing a pretty good job so far this year. Woodland sitting 4th in the points. Right now Scott Gaylord gets by him, and here comes the other machine to the inside. That's Nick Jennings. Jennings just trying to get a little bit of track experience here this afternoon.
And Joe Bean comes into play in the number 3 car as he works on the backside of Jennings. Jennings now clears Rich Woodland and has clear sailing down the racetrack. You'll notice that the drivers are really using the inside of this racetrack and not spending much time in the banking, something we saw similar to at Mesa Marin when they ran on the bottom of the racetrack.
Not a whole bunch of banking for them to use here. As we see our leader racing across the line, he'll click another lap off, and young Crow continues to lead this one. We'll be back in just a moment. Back with you here on a nice, cool evening in Madera, California at Madera Speedway. We're under caution. Let's take a look why as we get set to get back to green. Battle for 5th. Into the corner. Larry Gunzelman spins. Young Jeff Crow dives underneath. Gunzelman continues.
Very lucky he didn't lose more than one position there, but tough break for him. We're inside the car now with Wayne Jackson again, and he is still sawing the wheel very hard on the Imperial Palace race car. Right in front of him, Butch Gilliland, and boy, has he come from the back.
Gilliland had his work cut out for him here tonight, and he's been very slowly and methodically picking off traffic. As you can see him racing now in a single file line down the straightaway heading into the corner as Wayne Jacks continues to fight that race car.
And that's the best thing Wayne can hope for, is it stays single file and nobody goes inside or outside and tries to give him any grief, especially down low, because he's got to work at working that race car down on the bottom. Crow still leads him, the 07 of Lance Hooper running in spot number 2, and Hooper sure needs a win in this one. He would love to leave here better higher in the points.
Butch Gilliland back in the 3rd position, staying single file for the time being, and you see Gilliland again drifting up the banking just a little bit. Butch Gilliland's car has been running a little better than some of the others up high, and that's given him an advantage. He's been able to pass some traffic. Here they come down the front straightaway. You can see some of the scrambles going on from 4th, 5th, 6th position. And there's Jeff Crow also making his way up through traffic.
And there goes Nick Jennings getting a little sideways in the Advantage Memory Chevrolet. Maybe one of the reasons that Butch Gilliland is running so well is the fact that he's running Hoosier tires tonight as opposed to our 2 leaders on Goodyears.
Well, one driver who's not having a good night is Scott Gaylord. He's pushing his car into the infield. Jerry Garrett is with him.
A bad break here for Scott Gaylord. Scott, what happened to you?
The engine, something went wrong with the engine.
Pushed you in the points, didn't it?
Yeah, well, finally it was starting to come around, and we thought we might have a chance of doing a little better. Handling was getting better, but the engine just blew.
Only 7 points separate Mark Crow and Scott Gaylord. Crow is 6th, Gaylord is 7th, so that will definitely hurt him in the point structure. Taking a look at the battle for the 5th position, here's Jeff Crow coming off the corner right behind Larry Gunzelman. That spin didn't hurt him too bad. Anyway, he's back up to the 6th spot as they race off to the first corner.
And Nick Jennings still hanging in the 53 car on the outside. And Nick still running very tough, but up front we see our leaders, and Mark Crow still leading with Hooper, trying to work him coming out of turn number 4.
Well, the halfway break is imminent. You have to wonder if anybody's going to want to step out of line at this point and make a challenge. So far, nobody's been able to do anything with Mark Crow. Lance Hooper sitting in the 2nd spot. You see Hooper drifting up the banking just a little bit, drove pretty hot into the turn. I guess you have to wonder, Larry, if Butch Gilliland has anything for him, and if he's going to take the risk just before the halfway break.
I don't think he'll do it before the halfway break, but I think Gilliland's got a lot for everybody. He came from the back of the pack, currently running in spot number 3. He's driving a great race.
Down the front straightaway, they'll race off to the first corner again. The top 3 staying fairly tight. This time Lance Hooper backs out of it just a little bit through the apex of the turn. You can see Mark Crow getting away by maybe 2 or 3 car lengths. Here they come back across the line, looking at a lap off. Halfway break is coming close, and the lead battle's tightening up just a bit.
Got to think what Hooper's thinking about in his race car. He can't get by Crow, and here comes Gilliland. He's going to have his hands full with Butch very shortly, and he's still nowhere near the leader.
Down the front straightaway, another lap goes by the boards, and now Butch Gilliland begins to ease up just a little bit on the backside of Lance Hooper. As a matter of fact, as they race off the 4th turn, or I should say the 2nd corner, and head down the back straightaway into the 3rd turn, Hooper beginning to feel some heat from behind.
And Butch is going to give him all he can handle, too, because it is important when they come back out for the halfway point. They'll have fresh tires on, and they'll be able to work. And Hooper makes a serious mistake and drifts up high.
Here comes Gilliland to the inside. Hooper drives deep into the corner. Gilliland battles back. Side by side, they'll race off turn 4, come across the line. They're still side by side in the first corner.
And you knew this was going to happen sooner or later. And Gilliland really having the upper hand now with Hooper. Hooper puts the front end of that Pontiac out in front, but Gilliland still dives underneath, and Gilliland's going to try to take that position.
Well, they'll be able to slap on 4 fresh skins at the halfway break, so what the heck, may as well run them ragged.
Yeah, but I think Hooper now is going to get the advantage. Gilliland way sideways as the Hoosiers do not get any traction at all.
Well, they'll go ahead and make a show out of it on the last lap as Jackie O'Neill flies the caution flag. We're halfway home in the Imperial Palace Racestuff 200. An exciting race. We watched Butch Gilliland go from the back nearly to the front. There's a whole bunch more. Please stay with us here on Prime. Back with you here in Madera, California at the Madera Speedway. The Imperial Palace Racestuff 200 is halfway home. I'm Fred Armstrong alongside Larry Naston. And Larry, this halfway break is a pretty good idea on the part of NASCAR. It gives the drivers an opportunity to get in, change tires, check the machine out, and they don't have to do it flying over the wall.
And a little added safety benefit here, and something they're not used to. Just like the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, they're able to do some minor adjustments to the race car.
Well, Lance Hooper's had a pretty good run so far, but now some telltale steam beginning to come out of the back of his machine. His Pontiac sits in the garage area, and this doesn't spell good news for Lance Hooper. Looked like he might have a pretty good finish here this afternoon, was putting a lot of pressure on Mark Crow in the early going, but now you can see that steam and water dripping out of the overflow there. Jerry Garrett is on hand. We'll find out what happened to Lance Hooper.
Lance, you seem to be overheating. What's the problem?
Well, we're running real close there with Mark, and we ain't getting no clean air in the front end, so the car's running a little warm. I think if we back off a little bit, let the car cool down, make a run at him, I think we'll be there at the end.
Handling okay otherwise?
Yeah, the car's a little tight. We're going to make an adjustment for that, so we should be a lot better.
Well, while Lance Hooper's team scrambles to get that problem solved, there's no scrambling at all going on down in Mark Crow's pit. The young driver sits quietly inside his machine, just a few checkovers. They've already replaced the tires on his car. And Mark Crow, you can see him just kind of calmly sitting there behind the wheel of his machine, a little checkover going on underneath the hood as they get prepared to button this car back up and send him back out onto the racetrack. Let's take a moment and get the thoughts of this young driver who had his first pole in the Winston West Series here today.
Mark, you're staying out front. So far, so good.
Yeah, Hooper's been giving me quite a bit of pressure, but you know, this car is great. The tuner's done a great job. I think we got a good car for the race, for the end of the race, so hopefully we'll have something there.
His car's been overheating because he's been running so close to you and can't get clean air. I guess you didn't know that.
No. I don't know how Jeff's running. He's pretty fast. He should be up there in a little bit. I'm looking for him on my tail in no time. So, no, yeah, the clean air's been great, and this car's been running well. So, and the whole Winston West Series, everybody's racing really clean out there, it looks like. So that's great.
Good. How are we going to have second half?
Hey, we're going to go for it. You know, we'll play our cards right and take care of the tires. Hopefully have something for the end.
While young Mr. Crow gets his sights set on the end of the race, another driver is Butch Gilliland, and the crew now under the right front making some adjustments. Now, Gilliland has been running very hard and very deep all night long. Gilliland on the Hoosier tires, obviously getting ready for a big 100-lap finale and a dash, if you will, to try to win this thing. Gilliland running very hard tonight, coming all the way from the back to the third position. The crew still working on the car, trying to make those final adjustments, as we don't have much more time to go before they'll be back out for the final 100 laps.
Tires are on, hood goes down. It's up to Butch Gilliland. Let's get his thoughts.
From the back of the pack up to run second briefly. Butch, you came back to front like we thought you would. How's it running?
It's running real good. You know, the Hoosier tire gave us a good tire. I think it's good on a long run. And right at the end there, I'm just being easy, but I just decided to put a little pressure on those guys with the Goodyears in front. And they started slipping and sliding, so we'll be good. I mean, this thing is really good. I used a little bit of the tires up coming through the crowd, but still at the end, I still had a lot there for them.
Looking forward to what you can show them in the second half of the race?
Yes, we are. We're making a little front-end adjustment to get it turned a little bit better in the center of the corner, and we should look for us to go right to the front.
That just about wraps up the halfway break. Everybody getting set to get back out on the racetrack. Maybe a few minor adjustments. Well, maybe a few major adjustments. About 25 rounds of wedge going in Wayne Jack's car. We'll be back with a second half. Back with you here at Madera Speedway in Madera, California. The Imperial Palace Racestuff 200 set to get back underway. Alongside Larry Naston, I'm Fred Armstrong. And Larry, a whole bunch of surprises in the first half. I guess the biggest surprise is that a rookie like Mark Crow could not only win the pole here today, but hold off definitely not a rookie, a veteran like Lance Hooper, as long as he has.
No matter where he finishes tonight, this is going to be a memorable night for him. But he's up front right now. Hooper's in spot number 2. But that Butch Gilliland is sitting in spot number 3. And as you heard in the halftime break, Gilliland's got a ton of confidence. They come down for the green.
Jack O'Neill puts it out. They haul it off to the first corner. The lead lap cars on the outside. The lap cars were positioned on the inside of the racetrack. And already the top 3 begin to scuffle away. They'll head off to the first corner. And Butch Gilliland's car seems to still want to push up that banking just a little bit. He was talking about driving pretty hot into the corners. They made some adjustments at the halfway break, but still the Gilliland car kind of wants to drift up to the middle of the banking.
Well, I think right now, if you're in this race at all, Lance Hooper anyway, you're thinking about getting that car into some clean air, because as he said earlier, and as he had earlier, he has some overheating problems that he's very concerned about, and Hooper, the series points leader, wants to stay on top.
Coming off the fourth corner and across the line, there's Lance Hooper tucked in behind Crow. This time he gets a nose underneath, trying to get a little bit of air inside of that machine and cool down the gauges. They'll race off to the first corner again, and Crow beginning to drift up the banking just a bit. Hooper taking a peek to the inside, still unable to get by him.
And this may be where Crow makes if you will, a rookie mistake. He's got to drive hard to stay in front of Hooper. Hooper's got to get in front of him, so he's just adding pressure, and Crow is starting to drift a little bit, but the car still seems to be running well.
Boy, Lance Hooper just sticking the nose of that Pontiac right up on the rear deck of Crow's machine as they race into the corner. Hooper trying to get by, and I'm sure his gauges are already beginning to rise just a bit if they were having an overheating problem. And speaking of overheating problems, here's Bill McAnally pulling back into the pit area. His crew has reported to us several times that their gauges are way too high, so they make a stop into the infield to try to get their car cooled down just a little bit. Pontiac Hooper again tries him in the first corner.
This time Hooper gets a little bit of clear air underneath him, but Hooper not able to make it stick as Crow continues to lead in the number 24 car. The 07 of Lance Hooper runs in spot number 2, and the 38 of Butch Gilliland is running in spot number 3. But Hooper continues to put on that Earnhardt-esque pressure on him as they go down the straightaway.
4 rookies in this field, and Mark Crow making a great showing. And so far, Lance Hooper has been unable to do anything with him. They'll race across the line. Their lap ticks off on the boards. Again, Hooper sticks the nose of that Pontiac underneath. This time gets the advantage as he races off the turn.
Oh, and Jack Sellers has a problem. He spins the 48 car, and now the race is to the line, and it's going to be Lance Hooper who is going to keep the lead as they go into a yellow lap, but not a good break for Hooper because he needed some time to run that car in clean air.
Boy, Lance Hooper was probably hoping to force some 100-mile-an-hour wind in through that front grille, and right now he's going to have to slow down the car to about 25 miles an hour and file in behind the pace car. Trouble again for Bill McAnally. We mentioned a moment ago he pulled to the infield, and that team has been having a lot of problem with overheating in his machine.
And I think that's not the only time we're going to see that tonight. But what I'm concerned about with now is Lance Hooper. That car is awful hot. It's been slowed down now, and he's got Crow behind him. And you know that Crow kid is excited. He's going to want to run right up to the front.
Butch Gilliland continues to ride along in the third position as the pace truck heads down into the first corner. Everybody in tow behind. Lance Hooper probably keeping his eyes glued on those gauges now as he gets set to get back underway here at Madera, California. Great race so far. Mark Crow has been the only leader up until this point. Lance Hooper will become the second leader of this 200-lap event as we get set to get back to green. You see the lap cars on the inside, the leaders on the outside. Green flag comes out, and Hooper has a problem.
Exactly what we thought. Hooper has got a big problem. Now, we don't know what's happened there, but Hooper is definitely on the infield of this race course, and there is a big problem with the Golden West Trailers Pontiac.
They'll pull it to the infield, and so Mark Crow will become the third lead change here today. He's led most of the way. Lance Hooper for only one lap. Mark Crow has led the remainder as we line up and get set to go once again in the restart. Well, you can see Butch Gilliland pulling alongside and flanking Crow down the back straightaway as they get set to go. Gilliland has moved his way up very handily from the back of the field all the way up now to the second position, Larry. Pretty good job.
And this is where Crow has to be really careful. Gilliland has been tough from the start of this race in the back of the pack. He's the only one that has made any significant progress up into this race results board. And right now he's on the Hoosier tires. Crow is on the Goodyear tires. We're going to see a battle of the tires here shortly. And with as many laps as there are left to go, they're going to have to push real hard.
Still under caution as we weren't able to get underway. Some debris was sighted on the racetrack just as Lance Hooper pulled to the infield. And now the report comes up from the Hooper pit. Indeed it is overheating on Lance Hooper's car. Well, now you see Wayne Jacks pulling back into the infield. We told you there was quite a few adjustments going on in his car at the halfway break. And now you see a crew member trying to make more. Wayne Jacks doesn't want to lose a lap, so he's going to scramble back out onto the racetrack.
And the pit area here is grass, so you got to have sure footing when you go in to do an adjustment. Jacks is going to probably bring this car back in because he did not finish the adjustment. The way he's running right now, he might as well adjust it right.
Well, there's Lance Hooper. Things looking pretty good for him in the early going and looking pretty sad for him in the second half here as that car once again has overheating problems, and as that restart came out, he had to back out of the gas and head to the infield. Here's Wayne Jacks in the infield, and now Jacks has a problem. The weight jack was inserted in the backside of the car. They began to put a few rounds of wedge on the left side, and Wayne Jacks tore out of the pits with the weight jack still in the car. So as we get back to green, that may mean a black flag for Wayne Jacks. He's going to have to come in and get that solved.
Boy, just tough luck for him as they go down into the first turn. And Bean in the 3 car now collects Crow with him and Larry Gunselman as Bean takes the spin on the infield. So tough break, but Gunselman actually got the least of this, and Gunselman able to gain a position out of this thing, Fred.
You can see the right rear quarter panel of Jeff Crow's car pretty well crumpled in. Hopefully it didn't get down onto the tire. We'll see as he gets back out onto the racetrack and starts spinning his wheel. Here comes Wayne Jacks back in. They were trying to jack some weight into the rear side of that car, and the wrench was stuck in the back side of it. Now they're able to remove that. Let's take another look again at what happened in the first corner. Everybody scrambles in there. There goes Joe Bean around, and Crow jams on the brake. Gunselman does likewise, but not in time to avoid collecting the back side of Crow's car. Everybody else gets by cleanly on the outside.
So a lucky break for Larry Gunselman, an unfortunate incident for the 58 of Wayne Jacks, and Lance Hooper in the 07 car now. The race course.
Well, Mark Crow continues to lead here at Madera, California. We'll be back in a bit. Back with you here at Madera Speedway in the latter stages of the Imperial Palace Racestuff 200. And Larry Naston, Mark Crow has been pretty awesome here today as we get set to go back to green. There's his older brother, I should say, Jeff Crow, trying to sneak down to the inside.
Great showing for a rookie. The 24 car been strong all night long. Wayne Jacks having his problem as he bumps into your race leader. But that guy, Butch Gilliland, in the 38 car, still very, very strong, and I would not count him out of this one.
Here's Crow and Crow side by side. Of course, Jeff Crow is one lap down. Mark Crow running on the lead lap. He's our leader heading into the corner. Wayne Jacks, that car is not only a lap down, but he's going to turn around as well. Everybody gets by cleanly, but Wayne Jacks cuts a 360 cookie. Looks like he may be able to refire. We stay green as everybody races down across the start-finish line. Here's Wayne Jacks. He'll get it fired and continue on.
Here's another look at it as Crow bumps the back end of Wayne Jacks, and Jacks had nowhere to go but to spin. Luckily did not collect anything with him and was able to start. Here's another look as he gets popped right there, and that's about it.
So around goes Wayne Jacks. Mark Crow gets by, and we continue on here at Madera under the yellow flag, and you can see Wayne Jacks. Boy, some close calls there, Larry. Everybody scrambling to the top and the bottom of the banking to get by.
Wayne Jacks almost figured in this race, not even on the lead lap. He almost took the leader out with him. Still in yellow as the pace truck comes back out on the racetrack. Crow, luckily, still in the lead of this one. That could have been a mess.
Well, Butch Gilliland is going to position himself right in behind Mark Crow. Gilliland is a veteran. Crow is a rookie. We'll see who can do what with whom now as we get set to go back to racing. The lead lap cars again on the outside. Lap cars on the inside. Green flag comes out. Mark Crow pushes the button. Butch Gilliland does as well as they race off to the first corner.
And it looks like Woodland will lead him coming out of the turn. Remember, he is one lap down. Crow, your leader, number 24. Right behind him, the 38 of Gilliland, then the 21 of Kinder, and the 53 of Nick Jennings.
Kind of a nerve-wracking situation for the leaders now as those lap cars sit on the inside of the racetrack. The leaders are on the outside. You can see Gilliland really pushing on the backside of Mark Crow. As a matter of fact, it looked like he may have checked up just a bit.
Oh, I think he definitely checked up a bit, and that's what got Gilliland a little bit swervy as he came down that straightaway. But, boy, I tell you what, they've been standing in that gas all night long, and that's all it takes here is to be smooth on the accelerator. But sometimes you got to stab it, and that's exactly what happened to Gilliland.
This time, the lead lap cars haven't been able to get away from those lap machines. You could see a group of about 6 or 7 cars running 2 by 2 as they race into the corner. Kind of a nerve-wracking situation for the leaders.
Especially when you know the 3 guys below you have either had cause to spin or are about to spin when you get down low. This 3/8 of a mile track has got very little banking on it. Their best place to run is right down on the apron where the lap cars are.
Mark Crow gets a nose out in front of the lap machine on the inside. Boy, there's Gilliland just hammering on the rear deck as they exit the turn.
Crow still your leader. Gilliland in spot number 2. Kinder in spot number 3. Gunselman now in the 37 car runs in spot number 4.
You can see Mark Crow now getting a bit of an advantage, and the leaders beginning to swing around those lap cars. Here's Gilliland. He clears the lap machine. Now clear sailing down the straightaway as they head into the corner. And already Butch Gilliland begins to take a good peek at the inside of Mark Crow. There's Lance Hooper back out on the racetrack, but he's several laps down to the leaders.
But he is the point leader. He's got to come back out and salvage as many points as he can. And now Joe Bean slowing up big time in the number 3.
As Bean slows down the front straightaway, everybody else scrambles to the inside, and you can see just a little bit of something coming out of the backside of Joe Bean's car, but we stay green here at Madera. A lot of damage to the left front side of his machine, so Joe Bean very, very slowly eases his way around the racetrack.
Tough break for Joe Bean. He ran pretty good tonight, but had a couple incidents that hurt him. But still, it is all Crow out in front of this one with Gilliland and, of course, John Kinder and Larry Gunselman. They have been the people to be on top at this race here. It's been a tough one. The Imperial Palace Racestuff 200 has taken no prisoners.
Rookie Joe Bean pulls into the infield, and perhaps the damage to his car a little bit too much. You can see down in the left front side some of that sheet metal beginning to rub on his tires. As Mark Crow hauls it off to the first corner, Gilliland is right there with him. They'll race down across the front straightaway and flick another lap off as they head to turn 1, bunched up behind some lap traffic.
This is exactly what he did not need. Crow did not need this. He ran a long time side by side with lap cars underneath him, but when Gilliland got a chance to move around on him, it got Crow a little bit nervous, and he started moving up the racetrack. Gilliland then put the front end of his Thunderbird down below, and he tried to make some move. Now he's on the outside, and Woodland, the lapper, is going to hold this whole race up if he doesn't get out of the way.
Gilliland to the outside of the racetrack, eases by, and now Crow goes into the second position, so Butch Gilliland becomes the 3rd leader of the Imperial Palace Racestuff 200, and now solidly puts his machine out front as he races down the back straightaway.
And this couldn't have come at a worse time for Crow, because now Gilliland has got the car working the way he wants it with clear racetrack ahead of him.
Butch Gilliland is a veteran of the NASCAR Winston West Series, and when we talked to him earlier today, he said although he was starting at the very back of the field, he wasn't afraid of that. He's patient. He moved his way up through very, very cautiously. We talked to him earlier about what it's like to start at
Butch, it seems like some of your best finishes are when you start worst.
Yeah, well, I hope it comes through today. You know, we broke a motor here in practice, and we changed the motor and put a new motor in it. We took the one out of our super truck that we ran at Monroe, and we missed qualifying, so we're going to have to start in the back. I really feel real confident we shouldn't have a problem. We'll work our way up. These segments, 100 laps each, and 200 is where we want to win it. Last week I sat on the pole, new track record, and I ended up 6th with a flat tire, but I don't care about the pole or where I start. I want to win the race.
This is a one-groove type of deal, though, isn't it? How are you going to get by all these people?
We set our car up, and we went out in the practices, and we changed some shocks that last practice, and it worked real good up high, but after the shock change, I could run it right down on the pole. So I think getting around people, I'll be pretty versatile where I can go.
I'm glad you had your show truck here.
Yeah, real glad. Actually, it has a newer style motor in it. They're both 9-to-1 compression, but the truck motor is a brand new motor and really has a lot of low-end power.
Well, it looks like Butch Gilliland and team have been able to turn some adversity into perhaps an advantage here, Larry.
They sure have. I mean, we talked about it at the top of the show. They took a show car motor and put it in the 38 car, and now this show car is leading this race up here at Madera, and this is a very tough racetrack, so that motor obviously wasn't a sleeper.
Well, Mark Crow is making his way around Wayne Jacks. Jacks not yielding the way easily. He'll have to scoot to the outside. Crow does down the front straightaway. They'll knock another lap up onto the scoreboards, and as they race off turn 2 down the back chute, Wayne Jacks kind of digs in on the inside.
Yeah, Jacks is having a horrible night, and it's very uncharacteristic of him. Meanwhile, Gilliland is having one of those storybook drives. Also, Crow is as well. He's a rookie who's led it for a long, long time, but Gilliland is the man at the point right now.
No matter what happens at this point, I think to Mark Crow, the entire team has to feel pretty positive about what they've done. They came here, they won the pole, they led virtually the entire first half of the race, with Lance Hooper passing on virtually the last lap. So Mark Crow has been doing a tremendous job. Butch Gilliland continues to lead here with Mark Crow riding second. We're here in Madera, California. You stay with us for the finish. 10 laps to go in the Imperial Palace Racestuff 200. Alongside Larry Naston, I'm Fred Armstrong, and Butch Gilliland is the man on the point with Mark Crow second. Have a veteran leading and a rookie back in second. It's been an exciting race, Larry.
Yeah, not only has Jeff ran a great race, but Mark obviously has just been phenomenal here today as a rookie, but Butch Gilliland said he would do this. He said this is exactly what would happen with his race car, and he's done a fantastic job.
Making their way through some lap cars, you see Bill McAnally back out on the racetrack. One of the drivers that had some severe overheating problems. They've been in and out of the pits. It's been kind of a headache evening for them, but they'll be able to bring that car home to a finish. Here comes Gilliland. He'll click off another lap as we wind down towards the finish, and Butch Gilliland is now driving in some clear traffic. Kind of a luxury here tonight.
Well, I'll tell you what, I also got some advice for the Gilliland crew. That'll bring that show car out more often. They are running very well with that motor. And remember, the crew, if they can pull off to win this one, what a milestone accomplishment for this Winston West team.
Although Jeff Crow had a pretty good accident there, you can see the right rear quarter panel crumpled up on his machine. He's still right in there battling for fourth, along with John Kinder.
Both rookies doing a great job here. Kinder gives him a little love tap, but Butch Gilliland still the man on the point. He is the man on the mission right now, and Gilliland continues to lead as we wind down this Imperial Palace Racestuff 200.
Down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Gilliland kind of eases up the banking. He has the track all to himself right now. He'll cross the start-finish line and haul it off to turn 1. A couple of lap machines out in front of him. There's that battle for fourth again. Jeff Crow also having a good day here with John Kinder trailing behind as they race off the corner. Here's Gilliland. He'll tuck in line, dive down to the inside of Bill McAnally, and head down the straightaway.
And now going after Wayne Jackson. Remember, the bottom of this racetrack has been so critical to everybody who has led this race, and all the lead changes and the passing has been done so low on the racetrack that the lappers could cause a problem here because Mark Crow is not that far behind.
Mark Crow only about 4 car lengths behind, in fact, as they race down the front chute and head off to the first corner. Here's Gilliland. He'll swing around the outside of Wayne Jackson, ease his way down the back straightaway. Gilliland now racing into the turn. Mark Crow, a couple of car lengths behind. He'll have to deal with Wayne Jacks as he exits the turn and heads down the front chute.
And Wayne Jacks may be a big help right now to the leader, Butch Gilliland, as Wayne Jacks, when he can run, is very tough. but now you got to be wondering if Gilliland's feeling those tires moving around just a little bit. We are late in the race.
Well, he's been able to save them pretty well and also run his Ford anywhere he wanted on the racetrack pretty much all day long. White flag flies. 1 lap to go for Butch Gilliland as he heads down the back chute for the final time. He'll swing that Ford down into turn number 3. Gilliland runs it right down the middle of the racetrack, comes off turn number 4. Checkered flag and the win from the back to the front for Butch Gilliland and the Imperial Palace Racestuff 200.
A very happy crew, and we're going to have a word with them very, very shortly. They did a great job. They should be proud.
Well, it was a winning combination. The crew got the car onto the racetrack, and Butch Gilliland brought it home to victory lane. We'll be back to talk to our winner in a moment.
Tonight's race brought to you by Chevrolet. One automotive company has won more NASCAR races than any other. Genuine Chevrolet. And by Trick Performance Unleaded. At Trick, we fuel your fun.
Get your head off the TV.
So Butch Gilliland picks up his second career NASCAR Winston West Series victory here at Madera Speedway in the Imperial Palace Racestuff 200. A happy Butch Gilliland climbs out of the car, and our Jerry Garrett is standing by to talk to our winner.
Butch Gilliland, we said at the start of the race that you do the best when you have to come from the back of the pack.
Well, you know, our crew did a lot of, overcame a lot of stuff. You know, we had a motor go bad in the last practice, and they changed it. We missed qualifying. They changed it. You know, I was kind of worried, well, they oil leaks and stuff, but they told me they'd do a good job, and I said, I don't care if I start in the back, just give me something that'll finish, and I'll put it up front.
And you told us at halftime that you were going to go to the front at the end, and I guess the tires came to you, or the track came to your tire setup.
Well, the car was really good. You know, Bill Strop and the Yakima Installation came on board, and Balls Out, and a lot of my part source sponsors. They've done a real good job with this car. It showed in the track record last week in Bakersfield. And I just can't say enough for the sponsors and the people that made it all happen.
Well, congratulations on career Winston West win number 2.
Thank you.
As Butch Gilliland begins to celebrate down trackside, you can see Mark Crow coming up and giving him some congratulations as well. An amazing run for the young rookie. Let's go down trackside and talk to him.
Well, Mark, a good consistent run throughout, a good consistent car, but it looks like the track came to Butch at the end.
Yeah, Butch was really fast at the end. My spotter kept telling me how fast he was running the first half, and it was getting me a little nervous, and Lance Hooper got me there. Man, I'm just running around a ton of talent, and I'm young, and I'm learning all the time, and running around a guy like Butch and a guy like Lance, it's a learning experience for me all the time, so I'm not disappointed with the finish at all. You know, God gave us a lot of good things tonight, you know, and we're a growing team. We need a lot of help, but we're getting there slowly but surely, but we have big goals, and we want to get there someday, so I'm really happy, though. You know, this team did an excellent job. I couldn't ask for a better job, better car. Man, anybody could have drove that thing. I was just out there having a good time, and just experience got me with Butch got me with the experience, and I tried to catch him at the end there, but he's a heck of a driver, and he can keep that car underneath him, so hey, he deserved the win.
Career best finish, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Well, despite his 10th place finish here tonight, Lance Hooper retains the points lead in the NASCAR Winston West Series with Larry Gunzelman a tight second.
And Fred, while we take a look at the second 5 in points, we've got Harry Lewin, Butch Gilliland's car owner, standing by. Great run for Straub Motorsports tonight, Harry.
Yeah, very good. Excellent run.
You knew that the track would come to your setup?
Exactly. Yeah, we started off on a slow pace and let everything come to us.
Kind of dug yourself a deep hole there at the beginning, though, didn't you?
Yes, we did, but we worked out.
The crew really had to work on that. How fast did you get that engine changed?
It's about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something you don't plan on, and you kind of cross your fingers all the way through. Were you worried about it at all?
No. I've got a good crew. They all work good together, and everything's starting to gel for this team, and things are starting to pick up.
Well, it's too bad you're not running for the championship. You look pretty good right now.
Right? Yeah, you're right. Well, who knows what's in the future.
Okay, well, congratulations on a good one tonight. Well, unfortunately for Butch Gilliland, he's missed a couple of races already this season, so at this point he's 15th in the points chase and looks to be all but out of it. But you never know, with a couple of bad races like Lance Hooper had tonight, he could be right up in it again.
Well, we're out of time. On behalf of Jerry Garrett and Larry Naston, I'm Fred Armstrong. Thanks for joining us.